There's no question that all of those people, as he just said, if they could have done anything to prevent this, they would have. But there is the question, Congressman, you represent the state of Texas, and there is a really important question right now about whether there is and was a need for more preparedness for this type of scenario. Warnings, alarms, things that don't rely on whether your cell phone is on or whether you have cell phone service or not. You know, the New York Times had a piece about this. We're talking about a May budget meeting where county commissioners were discussing flood warnings that were being developed by a regional agency as something that they might be able to make use of. But in a recent interview, Rob Kelly, the Kerr County judge and its most senior elected official, said local residents had been resistant to new spending. Taxpayers won't pay for it, he said, adding that he didn't know if people might reconsider now. Is this a time to reconsider?
Well, first of all, we got to first think about the families and the first responders that are doing their best under those very difficult situations. You know, my daughters some years ago, went to a camp close by, Camp Longhorn, so I'm very familiar with that area. In fact, I spent about 5 years of my life playing six-man football in that area, about an hour away, so I'm very familiar with the terrain. It's a beautiful, the hill country in Texas is a beautiful area. But it can be difficult because, look, I was there just in that area a year ago, and I spent a lot of time there. Cell phones are hard to work in those areas, especially you got those hills or those mountains, you know, depending on your perspective. Wi-Fi is very difficult. So first of all, you know, you got to look at some of the very, very difficult situations because of the terrain that we have there. Second of all, look, we'll have a lot of time later to see what happened. There'll be an investigation into that. What did the National Service provide? What warnings? You know, they did have in the San Angelo, San Antonio area about 6 people vacant positions that were not filled. We got to look at some legislation. I saw some of my former colleagues or some of the people in the state legislature, they were going to consider a bill. They didn't consider it during the regular session, so I assume they're going to put it in this special session. And then, of course, you got to look at the local government. You know, sometimes that area is a very conservative area. I'm very familiar with Kerrville, Texas, in that area, very conservative. And some of the people didn't want to spend any money. I understand that. But budgets are priorities, and life should be one of them.
Yeah, I think that's